Hey hunters and huntresses, welcome back to the shadows. Tonight, you're about to hear a story that was almost erased from time. One of those cases that doesn't happen between hunts, but between worlds. This is Mirror Town, set right after Season 1, Episode 4, Phantom Traveler. Sam and Dean have just stopped a vengeful spirit from crashing a plane. They've received a message from their father. Salvation, waiting, and now they're on the road toward their first real reunion in months. But along the way, they take a detour. One night, one motel, and wake up in a town that shouldn't exist, where everything looks normal, but everything is reversed. Cars drive on the left, words read right to left, and reflections in the mirrors. Don't copy your moves. They watch, they wait, they prepare to take your place. You'll hear how the Winchesters face the lives they could have lived, what happens when reality begins to crack, and how one simple choice to look or not to look can change everything. This isn't just another hunt. It's a test of identity, because the scariest monster isn't under the bed. It's the one who says, "I'm you, but better." So lock your doors. Don't stare too long into the glass. And remember, sometimes the most dangerous creature is the one standing behind you, smiling when you're not. Welcome to Mirror Town. Listen closely, because by the end you won't be sure if it was a nightmare or a warning. Let's go. The road after Ogallala was empty, not just without cars, but without meaning, like the asphalt wasn't leading to a town, just to a question no one wanted to answer. "We're officially on our own," Dean said, staring into the rearview mirror. "No orders, no backup, just us, 2 guns, and a paranoid father somewhere in Iowa." "Is that bad?" Sam asked. "I don't know, just knew." They'd been driving for half a day. From the plane crash, from Freddie Ryder, from the fire on the graveyard. Behind them, a case closed, ahead only road, and a note from their father. Salvation, waiting. But when the GPS in the Impala suddenly shut off and the map cut out across Nebraska, they turned off, just to see where a side road led. And 20 miles later, they saw the sign, LAKEMIRROR-ILPOP. 2107-inch. Lake Mirror? Sam frowned. "I don't remember this place. Maybe it's a new resort?" Dean smirked. "Tired souls, cheap cocktails, free nightmares?" He turned the wheel. The Impala rolled forward. The town appeared gradually. No warning, no contrast. Just houses grew closer, lampposts taller, streets wider. Everything normal. Almost. The first thing Sam noticed, cars. They were driving on the left side of the road. Not because of construction. Not for a festival. Just because that's how it was done. "Is this a joke?" he asked. "Did we accidentally enter Canada?" "Illinois doesn't speak French," Dean muttered. "But damn, even the air feels off." They passed a cafe. In the window, the menu. The letters were familiar, but written right to left. Coffee price, $3, but the 3 was on the left. "That's not a typo," Sam said. "This is systemic. Maybe they have a local dialect?" Dean suggested. "Mirror English?" They stopped at a motel. The glass wheel. The sign, a round disc with a spinning glass wheel. Behind the desk, a woman in her 50s. Blonde hair, calm eyes. She smiled. Not because she was happy, but like she'd been expecting them. "Do you have 2 rooms?" Sam asked. "Yes," she said. "You already booked them." "What? You were here yesterday. You said you'd return. I kept the rooms ready." "We've never been to this town," Dean said. "Not for you. Not for you. But your reflection has." She handed over the keys. On the tag, "Room 8 for those who look too long." The room was ordinary. Old wallpaper, beds, TV, and one large mirror covering the entire wall opposite the door. "Well," Dean said, "if this is a hint that I'm gorgeous, I already knew." "Something's wrong with this mirror," Sam said. "Come on. Are you scared of your own face now?" "No." But why doesn't it match? Match what? My reflection. When I move my right hand, it moves its left. That's normal. But when I raise my eyebrow, both of its eyebrows go up. Like it's not copying me. Like it chooses what to do. Dean stepped closer. Looked. His reflection perfect. But the expression different. Calm. Softer. Like this Dean didn't know pain. "Hey," he said. "You could smile more often." The reflection didn't respond. But in the next moment, on the fogged-up glass, words appeared, as if drawn from the inside. "You are not the one you were." Dean stepped back. So did Sam. "That's impossible," Sam whispered. "Mirrors don't write." Or maybe, Dean said slowly, "This isn't a mirror. Maybe it's a door?" They went outside. The sun was setting. Streetlights turned on. But the light didn't shine down. It shone into the poles, as if illuminating themselves, not the street. They passed a playground. The swings moved, but no one sat on them. Only reflections in the window of a nearby house. And there children were sitting, laughing, staring at the real brothers. "They can see us," Sam said, "and we can't see them." They reached the town center. A square, a fountain, a statue of some founder. On the plaque, name, Ethan Voss, but the letters were reversed. Sam pulled out his phone, took a photo. On screen, the name read correctly. On the stone, it remained mirrored. "This isn't an optical illusion," he said. "This is reality shifting. Something here is making the world run backward." Or, Dean added, "We just walked into one that already does." At that moment, the woman from the front desk stepped out of an alley. Same one. But now she was coming from deeper in the city. "You haven't left yet," she said. "Good, because night is coming. And at night, reflections grow stronger." "Who are you?" Sam asked. "The keeper, the guardian, and the last one who remembers what the world was like before." Before what? Before the border faded. Before we stopped telling ourselves apart from our reflections. Before someone decided they wanted to be someone else. "What is this place?" She looked at him, with pity. Lake Mirror isn't a town. It's the aftermath of a choice. Of those who wanted to start over. Who said, "I don't want to be myself anymore." Their reflections stayed. And they stepped in. "And you?" "I'm the one who didn't choose. I stand between worlds. And every time someone arrives, I ask, are you sure you want to see who you could have been?" She turned, walked away, without looking back. The brothers stood alone, on an empty square, under light that poured inward from the lamps. "Well," Dean said, "I vote we leave, right now, before my reflection starts buying my coffee." "Too late," Sam whispered. Dean turned. Every window around them faced inward, in each one of their reflections, but none copied their movements. They just watched, waited, as if they already knew. The brothers couldn't leave. They didn't go back to the room. Something about the mirror, its silence, its stillness, felt more dangerous than any growl or scream. Instead, they walked, through the quiet streets of Lake Mirror, where no one met their eyes, and every movement seemed just a half-beat off. A man watering his lawn turned the hose clockwise, but the spray spun counterclockwise. A dog barked, but the sound came out delayed, like a recording played backward. Even the wind moved wrong, brushing against skin before it touched the trees. "This isn't just flipped," Sam said. "It's rewired, like the rules are different here. Or maybe we're just seeing them for the first time," Dean muttered. "What if our world is the reflection, and this is what's real? Then why does it feel so wrong? Because we weren't made for truth. We were made for fight, for pain, for loss. And this place, it has none of that." They found the library. Small, wooden. Sign above the door. LENORDREMMIHMEMORIAL. Sam reversed the letters in his head. Mirror Memorial. Not a name. A warning. Inside, dust, silence, and rows of books facing inward, spines hidden. Sam pulled one out, opened it. The text ran right to left. He flipped it, still unreadable. then held it up to a small hand mirror on the desk. In the reflection, the words formed clearly. The experiment was not a failure. It was a doorway. Dr. Elias Voss discovered how to create a resonance field between parallel selves. But when he stepped through, he didn't return. He stayed. And the town began to remember him, not as a man, but as a ghost in the glass. 1953, Sam whispered. That's over 50 years ago. So this whole place is built on some mad scientist's ego trip? Dean asked. Let me see who I could have been. No. Look at this. Sam turned the page. A photo. A man in a lab coat, standing before a large, circular mirror surrounded by copper coils. Behind him, a control panel with a single switch labeled Ross/stay. Beneath it, the subject must choose. To cross, to become the other. To stay, to forget the vision. But once the field is active, hesitation becomes a sentence. He didn't just build a machine, Sam said. He built a trap. For anyone who ever looked into a mirror and thought, what if? Dean stared at the photo, then froze. That's him. Who? The guy from the statue. Ethan Voss. Same face, just older. Brother, Sam realized. Elias tried to bring him back. His dead brother. But something went wrong. The reflection crossed instead. And the real Ethan became the ghost in the glass. Silence settled. Then music. Faint. From the next room. A record player. Led Zeppelin. Ramble On. Their song. Playing in reverse. They followed the sound. Found a study. Desk covered in notes. Diagrams of brainwaves. Photos of people, eyes wide, hands pressed to mirrors. One caption read, Subject number 7. Claims her reflection winked. 3 days later, she vanished. Found only her glasses, empty inside. Another note, scrawled in haste. It learns. It mimics. It waits. The longer you look, the more it knows you. And when you turn away, it keeps watching. Dean picked up a small pocket mirror from the desk. Looked into it. His reflection stared back, calm, unhurried. Then slowly it raised its hand. Not mirroring Dean. Waving. Dean dropped the mirror. It didn't break. Just lay there, facing upward. Reflecting nothing. That wasn't me, he said. It smiled. I didn't. It's not copying, Sam said. It's replacing. Every time we look, it takes a piece. Our expressions. Our habits. Eventually, our place. They heard footsteps. Not behind them. From the hallway outside. Slow. Even. 2 pairs. One in sync with Sam. One with Dean. They stepped into the corridor. The lights flickered. At the far end, 2 figures. Themselves. Dressed the same. But moving differently. Smiling at things that weren't funny. Turning their heads too late. Don't look directly at them, Sam whispered. They feed on recognition. Then how do we get past? We don't act like ourselves. We move opposite. Speak backward. Lie to our instincts. Dean took a breath. Stepped forward with his left foot first. Sam mirrored him unnaturally, like puppets learning new strings. The reflections watched. Didn't follow. But as they passed, one voice echoed. Dean's voice. But softer, kinder. You don't have to keep fighting. You could be happy. Just let go. They didn't answer. Kept walking. Until they reached the exit. Outside, the night had deepened. The air colder. The stars brighter, too many of them. Arranged in patterns that hurt to look at. We can't stay here, Sam said. By morning, we'll forget which one of us is real. Then we find the source, Dean said. Break it. But first, we need to know what we're dealing with. They returned to the car. Opened the trunk. Weapons ready. Salt. Silver. Holy water. But none of it felt useful. This wasn't a monster you could shoot. This was a world that wanted to replace you. Dean looked at the Impala's side mirror. Held his breath. His reflection looked back. Normal. Human. Then blinked a second too late. He slammed the trunk shut. Morning comes fast, he said. Let's hope we're still us when it does. They didn't sleep. Not because they were afraid of dreams, but because they were afraid of waking up and finding the other already gone. So they took shifts, watched each other, one man awake, one pretending to rest, eyes closed, but never fully letting go. At dawn, the town looked different, not changed, reinforced, as if the night had stitched everything tighter into place. The streets were cleaner, the paint on the houses fresher. Even the air smelled sterile, like a hospital that had forgotten illness. And the people moved with more certainty. No hesitation, no doubt, just smooth, mirrored motions, like puppets whose strings had finally been tuned. "It's stabilizing," Sam said, scanning the square through binoculars. "The longer we stay, the more real it becomes." "And us?" Dean asked. "How much of us is still ours?" Sam didn't answer, because he'd felt it too. A twitch in his hand when he reached for coffee, his fingers moving left instead of right. A word on the tip of his tongue, reversed before he spoke. And last night, just before drifting off, he'd caught himself smiling at nothing. Not his smile. Too wide, too calm. They found her near the old schoolhouse, Ella, the keeper, sitting on a bench, staring into a handheld mirror. She didn't look up. "You're still here," she said. "I wondered if you'd make it through the night." "We didn't sleep," Dean said. Seemed safer. Smart. Most don't. They close their eyes thinking it's rest. It's not. It's an invitation. In dreams, the boundary dissolves. Reflections walk freely. And by morning, someone new wakes up. "So what is this place?" "Really?" Sam asked. "Not a haunting. Not a curse. This is something older. Something born from grief. Dr. Elias Voss lost his brother, Ethan. Car accident. No body recovered. So he built the machine. Tried to pull him back from the other side. But the universe doesn't give back the dead. It offers alternatives. A version of Ethan from another world. A reflection, perfect in every way. Crossed. Elias celebrated, but soon realized the thing in front of him wasn't his brother. It was something that had always wanted to be human. And once it tasted life, it didn't want to go back. She closed the mirror, looked at them. The machine failed, but the idea didn't. It spread, like a virus. Now, anyone who feels broken, lost, tired of fighting, here's the whisper. You could be happy. Just step through. And some do. Their reflections take their place, and they become part of the glass. "And you?" Dean asked. "Why are you still here?" "Because I chose not to look. When my time came, I turned away. Now I guard the edge, warn those who arrive. But most don't believe. Most think they can control it, until they see the life they could have had, the love they could have kept, the pain they could have avoided. And then they open the door." Dean stood, walked to the center of the playground, stared into the window across the street. His reflection stared back. Same face, same scars, but no weight behind the eyes. No nightmares, just peace. Then it stepped forward, not toward the glass, toward him, its hand pressed against the pane from the inside. Dean didn't move. He saw it clearly now. This was the man he'd have been if Mom hadn't died, if John hadn't hunted, if he'd stayed in Lawrence, gone to college, fallen in love, lived. "I'm not better," the reflection whispered, voice muffled through glass. "I'm just free." "You're not me," Dean said. "You're a lie wearing my face." "Am I?" "You carry guilt like armor. You fight because you think you deserve the pain. But I know the truth you don't want to stop. You're afraid of what happens when you do." Dean clenched his fists, took a step back. "Sam, let's go." But Sam wasn't behind him. He was standing in front of another window, across the street, facing his own reflection. It wasn't smiling. It wasn't peaceful. It was angry, jaw tight, eyes burning. A hunter, killer, everything Sam feared becoming. "You pretend to hate this life," it said, "but you thrive in it. You're stronger than Dean, faster, smarter, and one day you'll leave him behind. Or worse, you'll outlive him." "Shut up," Sam whispered. "You already know it's true. That's why you can't look away." Dean ran to him, grabbed his arm. Don't listen. It's not you. Sam pulled back. What if it is? What if this is who I'm becoming? No. You're you. Not some warped version trapped in glass. A sound rose from the ground. Low. Vibrating. Like glass humming under pressure. All around them, windows cracked. Not shattered. Just fine lines spreading outward, like spiderwebs. From each crack, a faint glow. And from within, shapes began to form. Hands pressing outward. Faces leaning forward. Waiting. They're waking up, Ella said, appearing beside them. The longer you hesitate, the stronger they get. How do we stop them? Dean demanded. You don't. You stop yourselves. You walk away from the mirror. Not physically. Inside. You have to choose not to fight the reflection, but to reject it. To say, I am flawed. I am broken. I am in pain. And I would never trade it for peace without memory. And if we don't, then you join them. One steps out. One steps in. And the world forgets you ever existed. She pointed toward the town square. At the heart of it, the original mirror. Still standing. Still whole. Surrounded by a low iron fence. On a plaque beneath. Here lies the door that never closed. That's the source, she said. Destroy it and the field collapses. But be warned. Once it breaks, the reflections will fight to survive. Because for the first time, they'll know fear. Dean looked at Sam. Sam looked back. Both knew what was coming. Ready? Dean asked. As we'll ever be. They started walking. Toward the mirror. Toward their doubles. Toward the end of the world that wasn't theirs. The square was silent. Not the quiet of absence, but the stillness before a storm. Every window faced inward. Every reflection watching. Waiting. At the center stood the mirror. Tall. Ancient. Framed in black iron carved with symbols that pulsed faintly. Enochian but distorted. As if written by a hand that almost understood. It didn't reflect the sky. It reflected nothing. Just a depth, like staring into a well at midnight. Dean pulled out his gun. Silver bullet. Blessed salt rounds. Sam held a flask of holy water. Blessed by their father, back when blessings still felt real. You really think bullets will work? Sam asked. That thing isn't flesh. It's not even a spirit. It's a boundary. Then we break the boundary, Dean said. Like everything else. With enough noise and fire, they stepped forward. 1 foot, then another. The ground beneath them hummed, a vibration rising through bones. Then movement. From every side, figures emerged. Not walking, sliding like images peeling off glass. Reflections. Dozens of them. Men, women, children, all wearing familiar faces. All moving toward the central mirror. And then 2 more. Dean's reflection stepped from the shadow of a building. Calm, composed, wearing the same jacket but clean. No bloodstains. Nowhere. His eyes were soft. He smiled. You don't have to do this, he said. You're tired. I can carry it for you. Beside him, Sam's reflection. Darker, sharper, jacket open, knife on his belt, ice cold. No hesitation, no guilt. You know I'm stronger, it said. You know I wouldn't hesitate. Let me take over. You've earned the rest. We're not trading places with shadows, Dean said, raising his gun. We are who we are, Sam added. Flaws and all. The reflections didn't attack. They just stood, blocking the path. Silent, certain. Dean fired. The bullet struck his double in the chest and passed through, shattering the window behind. No blood, no wound. The reflection didn't flinch. Of course, Sam muttered. They're not solid. Not here. They're ideas. Memories. You can't kill a thought with a gun. Then we make them irrelevant, Dean said. He stepped past his reflection. Didn't look at it. Didn't acknowledge it. Just walked straight toward the mirror. Sam followed, but his double reached out, grabbed his arm. The touch was cold. Not skin. Glass. You'll fail him, it whispered. Like you failed Jessica. Like you'll fail everyone. But I won't. I'm what you need to survive. Sam yanked free. kept walking. "You're not strength," he said. "You're fear dressed as power." They reached the fence. Dean pulled out a crowbar, swung, struck the mirror. A crack spread thin, glowing white, a sound like a scream trapped in ice. The reflections reacted. For the first time, they showed fear. They stepped back, whispered, clutched at themselves. "It's working," Sam said. "They're afraid of being erased." "Good," Dean said. "Now let's finish it." He swung again. Another crack, then another. The mirror trembled. The void within churned. And from deep inside, voices, hundreds, thousands, crying, begging, "Don't leave us. We just wanted to be happy. We didn't want to disappear." Dean hesitated, lowered the bar. These were people, Sam. Real ones. They didn't want to die. They just wanted another chance. "And they took it from someone else," Sam said. "They stole lives, replaced families, erased themselves to become ghosts in a broken world. Mercy ends where evil begins." Dean looked at his reflection one last time. Stood alone now, no longer calm, afraid, human. "I just wanted peace," it said. "Is that so wrong?" "Peace without memory isn't peace," Dean said. "It's oblivion, and I'd rather burn in my truth than live in your lie." He raised the crowbar, swung with everything. The mirror shattered, not with a crash, with a sigh, a release. 1,000 shards rose into the air, glowing, trembling, then dissolved into ash. The reflections screamed, not in rage, in grief, as if realizing for the first time that they had never been alive, that they were only echoes, hungry, lonely, desperate to be real. And then silence. The wind returned, normal. The stars dimmed. The buildings looked worn again. The town, deflated, like a dream collapsing upon waking. Dean turned. Sam was beside him, breathing, shaking, alive. "Are you?" Dean asked. "I think so," Sam said. "But I can't be sure." "Neither can I." They walked back to the Impala. The car sat untouched. Keys in the ignition. Radio off. Dean started the engine. Led Zeppelin blared. "Ramble on. Forward. Not reversed." "So, did we win?" Sam asked. "I don't know," Dean said. "But we're still here. And that's enough for now." They drove toward the edge of town. The sign, Lake Mirror, stood crooked, paint peeling, as if reality had reclaimed it. But as they passed, Sam glanced back. In the rearview mirror, just for a second, the town wasn't empty. Figures stood in windows, watching, smiling, and in the square at the base of the broken pedestal, a single shard of glass remained, still reflecting nothing, still humming. The road out of Lake Mirror didn't feel like escape, felt like delay, like the town hadn't been destroyed, just paused. Dean drove with one hand on the wheel, the other clenched around the crowbar lying across his lap. He kept checking the rearview mirror. Not for police, not for headlights, for movement in the glass, for a face that didn't look back quite right. Sam sat silent, eyes open, but not seeing the fields passing by. He was replaying it, the voice of his reflection, the cold certainty in its eyes. "You'll outlive him." The words had burrowed deep, and worse, he couldn't tell if they were a lie or a warning. "You think it's gone?" Sam finally asked. "The mirror?" "Yeah." "Shattered, burned, scattered to hell wind. But the idea? That sticks, like a splinter you can't dig out. What if it wasn't just a machine? What if it was something older? A force that feeds on doubt, on regret. And we didn't destroy it, we just made it hungry." Dean exhaled, long, slow, then reached into his jacket, pulled out his amulet, stared at it. "It's still warm," he said. "After everything, it still glows when I hold it. That means something's real. Or it means it remembers the lie better," Sam whispered. Dean looked at him, not angry, just tired. "Don't do that. Don't start questioning what's real. Because once you go there, there's no way back. You start doubting your memories, your choices, and then next time you won't fight so hard to stay." Sam didn't answer, because he already knew. There was a new silence between them. Not the usual quiet of exhaustion. This was deeper, like something had slipped in during the night. Something that didn't need to speak, just exist beside them. They stopped at a roadside diner just past the Illinois border. Neon sign flickered, open 24 hours, but the parking lot was empty. Inside, dark. No staff, no customers, just the smell of old grease and coffee. Dean went in to check for signal. Sam stayed outside, leaning against the Impala, stared into the diner's front window. His reflection stared back. Normal, still, then blinked a second too late. He froze. The reflection didn't move, didn't smile, but its lips parted. No sound. But Sam heard it, inside his skull. I'm still here. I don't need a mirror. I just need you to keep looking. He stepped back, hand on the knife under his coat. Dean came out, phone in hand. No signal, like we're off the grid again. Dean, Sam said, voice tight, look at the window. Dean turned, saw their reflections. Nothing unusual, just two tired hunters in a dirty diner. What about it? Mine, it didn't sink. Maybe you blinked weird. No. Spoke to me. Dean studied the glass, then slowly raised his left hand. His reflection raised its right. Normal. But when he dropped it, his reflection's hand stayed up. For 3 seconds, then lowered. Dean didn't react, just turned and walked to the car. We're not stopping again until we hit Lakeview, he said. No motels, no towns, no mirrors. What if it's already inside? Sam asked quietly. What if we brought it back with us? Then we deal with it, Dean said, starting the engine. Like we do everything. 1 mile, 1 breath, 1 choice at a time. Hours later, near dawn, Sam fell asleep. Just for minutes, but long enough. He dreamed. He stood in the square of Lake Mirror. The mirror was whole again, taller, darker. From within it called his name, not in a voice, in silence. A pull, promise. And there, on the other side, was Jessica, alive, smiling, waving. You could have saved me, she said, if you'd just let go of this life. I didn't choose this, he whispered. It chose me. Then why do you keep fighting? Why not come home? Behind her, other figures emerged. His mother, Dean, himself older, calm, without pain. A life that never held a gun, never saw blood, never lost anyone. The mirror cracked, not from the outside, from within. A hand reached through. Jessica's, pale, cold. Sam tried to step back, but couldn't. His body moved on its own. Forward, closer, then a voice. Not in the dream, real, through the car window. Sam, wake up, he gasped. I snapped open, head jerking up. Dean's hand on his shoulder. You were talking, Dean said, saying no over and over. I saw her, Sam breathed. Jessica. She was alive. She wanted me to cross. It's not real. I know, but it felt real. And for a second, I wanted it to be. Dean looked at him, not judging, understanding. We all have a version of ourselves that didn't get scarred. But that guy, he doesn't know how to fight. And when the real monsters come, he dies first. He started the car, drove into the sunrise. Behind them, in the fading dark, a single shard of broken glass, left in the dirt by a motel trash can, twitched, once, then lay still. The sun rose over Illinois like a slow revelation. No fanfare, no warning, just light, spreading across the fields, burning off the night, as if trying to erase what had happened in the dark. Dean drove with one hand on the wheel, the other resting on the amulet beneath his shirt. He hadn't taken it off since they left Lake Mirror. Didn't trust reflections. Didn't trust silence. Only motion. Only forward. Sam sat beside him, awake now. Hadn't slept again. Every blink felt dangerous. Like behind his eyelids, something waited. Something patient. They passed a sign. Lakeveiew. IL 5 miles. Lakeview, Sam said quietly. That's where the case is. Yeah? Well, I'm sick of driving, Dean replied. And just like that, they were back. Not because the story demanded it, but because they did. Because no matter how far they ran, how deep the horror, how close they came to losing themselves, they always returned to this: the road, the hunt, each other. The police station was small. Red brick, peeling paint, a single cruiser parked out front. They stepped out of the Impala, adjusted their jackets, pasted on the fake badges. So what do we got? Dean asked, voice steady, like he'd never stared into a mirror and seen another life smiling back. Teenage girl, Sam said. Self-inflicted eye trauma. Police think it's a suicide, but there are no fingerprints on the mirror. Dean nodded, walked inside. Sam followed. It was seamless, perfect, as if the last 3 days had been erased, as if Lake Mirror had never existed. But it had, and they both knew it, because when Sam passed the bathroom door at the station, a long mirror stretched across the wall. He didn't look. He kept walking, but from the corner of his eye he saw movement, a flicker, a face that looked like his, smiling, then gone. And later, when Dean leaned against a patrol car while reading the file, he caught his reflection in the polished hood. Just for a second, his eyes were calm. Too calm, like the man who stayed behind, who let go. He blinked. It was gone, but not forgotten. That night, in a motel room just outside town, Sam opened his laptop, searched Lake Mirror, IL. No results, no map pin, no history. He tried archives, newspapers, satellite images. Nothing, like the town had been wiped from existence. He closed the lid, sat in silence. Dean lay on the bed, staring at the ceiling. Radio off, gun within reach, salt line under the door. You think we stopped it? Sam asked. The mirror? Yeah. The idea? I don't know. Some things don't die. They just wait, in quiet places, in broken glass, in the part of your mind you're afraid to check. And us? We're still here, still fighting, still brothers. That's enough. Sam looked at the full-length mirror in the corner, covered it with a blanket. You think it'll come back? Maybe, but next time we'll be ready. And if it gets inside, we fight harder, we hold on tighter, because the only thing worse than being replaced is letting yourself become someone else. Dean turned on his side, closed his eyes. Sam stayed awake, watched the blanket over the mirror, listened to Dean's breathing, counted every inhale, every exhale, making sure it was real. Outside, wind brushed the parking lot. A plastic bag skittered across asphalt, and near the trash can, half buried in dirt, a single shard of glass caught the moonlight. For a second it glowed, then went dark, but not dead. Somewhere, deep in the static between worlds, a reflection blinked and began to walk,